Your body is like the least interesting thing about you. Why don't you go on as many brand trips anymore? I don't even want to say this in a bad way because I don't want to like stir the pot or whatever. Relationship update, talking about the future and stuff. And I don't know if I'm willing to take that risk. How do you feel about the overconsumption that comes with being an influencer? Take a breath with me. First, we gloss. Good. Hi guys! What is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a chatty video, very chatty. We're gonna get into some of your questions. We're just gonna have some gals time together. I wanna think of this video as kind of like a solo podcast almost. I do have a podcast with my best friend Danielle. It is super fun and we have the best chats. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into a whole range of topics, things that you guys are curious about, and everything in between. Grab a coffee, grab a drink. I am just drinking water because someone's in her health era. No, I already drank my coffee today and I'm like kind of wired, so I don't need any more. Okay, so I asked you guys on Instagram, @brookemicciobusiness. If you're not following me, what are you doing? Follow me, and let's get into it. In a recent vlog, you mentioned a beauty PR agency. Do you ever think about having an office job? For those of you who don't know, I had a job after college for a little bit. I've also done like internships and stuff. I was a marketing major in college. I graduated from the University of Georgia, Terry College of Business. I am so lucky that I get to do this full time. The short answer is no. The long answer is my plate is full and I feel extremely satisfied with what I'm doing now with creating content, not only on here, but also my podcast, Instagram, TikTok. For me right now, I feel as though my time is better spent working towards building my own brand and my own platform. And of course, like that option is never like completely off the table for like if one day I wanted to do something like that, but is that on my bingo card? Is that on my goal sheet? No, just because of the position that I find myself in, which is all thanks to you guys, obviously. I kind of spoke of that like in a vlog because if I didn't have social media for myself, if I never started, that was something that I feel like would have been my dream job, working for a marketing agency doing like fashion or beauty or lifestyle, like sort of PR. I think that it is such a freaking cool job, but I love my job and I'm so lucky that I'm able to do this. Really enjoy working for myself, connecting with you guys and doing all these things. And I feel like at some point, which we'll talk about in some other questions, there are trade-offs that you make in life, and like for me choosing not to do a full-time job because so that I could focus on this and like put all my energy towards this is, in terms of like the opportunity cost, I think it's more worth it to do this now. Tips on getting out of a body funk / not loving your body. Ugh, I'm so sorry and I feel for you. I have gone through, I feel like so many phases with body image in my life. Honestly, right now it's good days and bad days. Gonna be completely transparent. There are days where I'm like, put me in, coach, I'm a model. And then there are days where I have such a low that I'm like, I like only want to wear sweatpants and a baggy sweatshirt. Yeah, no, but actually like I'm like, I don't want to leave my apartment, I don't want to be seen, like I don't want to put on clothes. And I think recognizing that those feelings are all very normal and that's part of like being a member of the society we're in. Not that I want to normalize like being super low, but for me it does bring some solace knowing that like everybody has bad days. This is like a really interesting way of thinking of things, but there are so many people that I follow on social media that will open up about like their bad body image days and stuff like that. And meanwhile, I'm scrolling through their content, looking at photos of them in fabulous outfits and how gorgeous they are and thinking about all of their awesome attributes, and like I would have never thought that they were insecure about their body. So just thinking that like we're kind of, it's kind of an illusion, like we're all putting on a front, if that makes sense. Even the world's most confident person still has bad days. And I know I've said this before, but confidence truly is so much sexier than like anything, like literally. Bad body days happen. I feel like it's important to like let ourselves feel those feelings. But I think about like, okay, what's gonna make me feel better in this moment? 'Cause sometimes just wallowing in my own pity, like it's not gonna make me feel better, you know? Do I need to unfollow accounts on social media that may make me feel a certain way? Because the responsibility isn't on them to make me feel good about myself all the time. I get triggered on social media too if I see, you know, certain photos or whatever, and I'm like, okay. And you can't really explain it, you know? You're just like, all right, whether that be like a photo of a model or whatever, I don't know. I think knowing your triggers, kind of following inspiring or uplifting people and kind of like figuring out ways of how to like get yourself out of that space, you know? Is that you're gonna get outside and take a walk? Are you gonna go work out? Not for the physicalness of it, but for like the dopamine hit, and just realizing that like your body is not everything. This is something that I deal with a lot. Like I think a lot of times women in our society specifically, but really everybody, we place so much emphasis on like our body and the way that our body looks and our physical, whatever. Let's focus on like being a good person. Let's focus on like having cool interests. Your body is like the least interesting thing about you, truly. Just knowing that we're all in it together, girl. Could you share any other workouts you do than SoulCycle? And we'll talk, I guess, about like fitness in general. Why did you get so motivated again? So my relationship with fitness, I would say I'm very like all or nothing, and I'm like either like in or out kind of, which I don't love that about myself, but like I recognize it in myself, and I'm back into working out, and I really pretty much only do SoulCycle or treadmill workouts right now. I'm looking to expand and to do more that I'm like comfortable with now that I feel a little bit more in shape. You know, I get out of my comfort zone in like other ways, but for some reason with fitness, I kind of stay in my little box of like what I've done before, what I feel comfortable with, and what I know I feel good doing. And for me, as quickly as I'm into fitness, I could go out of it. So just by taking a string of workouts that like leaves me dissatisfied or whatever, I could fall out of it. So I'm like, I gotta keep going with the like things that I like. And for me, fitness is all about finding things that you like. Do I love working out? No, I'm gonna be totally honest. No, I do not. Do I love the feeling afterwards of like when I'm sweaty and walking home? That feeling is such a high for me. That is kind of like why I do it. I don't have any body aesthetic goals right now. I do want to, you know, tone up and get stronger, but not for like the physicality elements, just because, I don't know, when I'm lifting my 50-pound suitcase and I'm struggling with it, I'm like, this is kind of like annoying. I'm a young, fit, so thankfully able-bodied person. I want to take care of my body and like move it and sweat and do these things because I'm able to. And what a privilege that is, you know? So no, I don't really do any other workouts, and I feel like fitness in general is such a personal thing. I think it's easy to see on social media, you know, and maybe I'm even part of that, I guess. Like maybe you see my workouts and you're like, okay, like I guess she only does SoulCycle, or I see other people, I'm like, oh, they do weightlifting, or oh, they do running. There's no like one size fits all. Fitness is like so personal. Sports just were never my thing. I was never like, I never felt athletic. So I always just kind of was like, all right, I guess, you know, I'm just not athletic. But it's about finding what you like. And, you know, I found something that I like and that I feel really good doing, and that I enjoy the music, and I like the way that I feel afterwards. I like the people, and that for me is what it's about, at least right now. And that's not to say that my opinions can't change on this matter really quickly. They definitely can. And everybody has different fitness goals. Everybody has something different. You know, my goal isn't like to shred up to like enter a bodybuilding competition. It's just to like have longevity in my life and like maybe be a little bit stronger, you know? How do I find motivation? I actually found that the motivation in the beginning was harder than now, because now my motivation is improving. I've been at this level, I guess, of like doing SoulCycle before, or really any workout class. I've found I used to do Orange Theory before that. I did Pure Barre. Once I start to feel myself improving, like I'm able to, you know, keep the tempo, I'm able to get out of the saddle, whatever it may be, whatever those like small building blocks are of whatever workout are, because you know, when you start any workout, you're kind of like, you know, on the first level. Once I feel myself like slowly improving, that to me is motivation enough to like keep going and keep like getting stronger. Improvement is definitely a big motivator for me. So for me, the hardest part in the beginning was just getting there. I think incentivizing myself does help. You know, if I don't know if this is the best advice per se, but this is just being honest. You know, if I go do this workout class, I can get a salad from Sweet Green for dinner. If I go to workout classes all week, I'm gonna get myself a new workout set from Lululemon. It's difficult though, and just as easy as a minute, I could be out of it, like I'm saying. So who knows? I'm hoping that, you know, I stick with this for myself. I didn't even intend for it to be like a new year, new me type of thing, but it kind of turned into that, because I think I started like maybe like mid-January, and really no particular reason. I don't know what happened. I just feel like I got kind of re-inspired one day. And that happens, and that's okay. Right now, I feel really good. I will say that. I feel really happy, I guess. I'm enjoying it. And that's what matters, right? I wanted to talk about this one. Why don't you go on as many brand trips anymore? Now, this is a multifaceted answer. Transparently, I have said no to several. Same goes with event invites and things of that sort. I used to say yes to everything. I used to be, yes, man, oh my gosh, I got invited to fly across the country and do this. Yes. Of course, you know, when you are young and you have opportunities thrown your way, how freaking cool is that? And I was just like, sign me up for literally anything. I really was, you know, putting myself out of my comfort zone. I didn't see it this way, but I think that when you sign up and you go on a brand trip and you do all these things, you're in a way, you know, aligning yourself with that company, right? Whether or not you're explicitly saying it, you're kind of saying like, I like this company, I support this company. Even if you're just going to like hypothetically like learn about it and whatever, it's implied that you are going to be, you know, doing some posting for them, and you're going to be sharing your experience. So you're giving them, you know, this free marketing usually, because usually the way brand trips work, unless, you know, it's an extenuating circumstance, usually it's implied, okay, you get to go on this free trip. In return, you do some posting for us. Sometimes there's a little star there because you have like required deliverables. And sometimes with another star there, if you have required deliverables, they pay you too. I have said no to some in realizing that if the agenda doesn't suit my needs, or if the brand is something that I'm like iffy about, I just have learned to say no. It's honestly like a privilege and an honor to like be able to like say no. If 18-year-old me knew that I was declining free trips, I feel like she would be punching me in the face. Like that would simply not fly. But I've just gotten to a point kind of where I don't even want to say this in a bad way because I don't want to like stir the pot or whatever, but I'm in my protecting my peace era. I don't need to be up and moving and like running around the world just to say that I am, you know? If I want to go, I'm going for sure. But if I don't want to go, I just don't, you know? Sometimes you don't even need an explanation. You're just like, this just doesn't feel right. And that's fine too. The other piece of it I will say is I think, I don't know if it's like I'm losing relevancy or it could be a million different things. I feel like in the rise of TikTok, more like YouTube focused creators are not necessarily like the first invites on the list. I think I've been receiving less invitations, and that could be as a result of me saying no. And if that's the case, I'll take it. But yeah, I'm not invited on everything either. Let me be very for real right now. And there's definitely some trips that I'm like, oh damn, like didn't catch that invite. But it's easy for me to sit here and be like, oh, I wish I would have gone. But like, you know, sometimes the universe is protecting me. Maybe it just wouldn't have been for me. So I think it's a twofold. It's me, you know, just trying to be a little more strategic with my brand and who I choose to align myself with. And on the other hand, I'm, you know, not getting invited to everything. How do you deal with juggling so many friendships at a time? This is also something that I'm learning as I get older. I have a lot of different kinds of friendships. I have more like low maintenance friendships, I'll call them. You know, they're just not the friends that I contact every week. Just being for real. You know, a lot of my like high school, college friends, people that don't necessarily live in New York. I'm not like a big texter though. I'm not one of these people that's like, I constantly have like text chats going. I'm much rather a like, okay, when I'll see you next month and we'll catch up then. Or like we'll do a long chatty FaceTime. So I think it's like knowing what type of friendship it is. So I'm very lucky that I have a lot of like lower maintenance friendships in my life, like people that I know will always be in my life and they're important to me, but we don't necessarily talk every day. Actually, we definitely don't. Maybe like sometimes like we'll Snapchat, you know, but not necessarily like, good morning, how are you, what's up? I really don't think I'd text like that with anyone except for my boyfriend, Danielle, and my mom. With the other friendships, it's hard, I'm not gonna lie. For me, I'm a very deep person. I wanna go deep with you. I feel like I have a lot of people in my life that I am like friends with, and you know, they're my friends. I would invite them to my birthday party. I love to catch up with them at an event. I would love to talk with them. But then I think I reserve like that special, like super close friendship for really only like a very few people in my life. That's what works for me. I don't know, I feel like I'm not really the type to like just necessarily, I've always kind of been this way. I've always had like, you know, like friends and then like my close friends. I feel really lucky also. I know I keep saying I feel really lucky in this video, but like I really am just so lucky on a lot of levels in my life that I have had really positive experiences with friends, with the exception of like, you know, little things happening here and there. I have really positive experiences with female friendship, and I know that's not the case for everybody, so I have a lot of trust in the people that are like close to me. But realistically, your time is limited, so I don't know how these people, like some people have so many freaking friends. I'm like, how do you stay in touch with everybody all the time? But I do catch myself sometimes freaking out. I'll be like, wait, I haven't talked to this person in a while. It's almost like I'm playing Sims and I need to like improve the like friendship number, and then I'll like make it a point to like reach out to them or like, you know, try to plan something. But it is hard. I think it's really difficult to maintain super close friendships with a large number of people. So that's why I reserve my energy and like really exert and like extend that towards the really close few people in my life, if that makes sense. It's hard as you get older, let me tell you that. Everyone's just in such different places in life. Yeah, it's tough. All right, let's talk about relationship stuff. A lot of relationship stuff. Okay, relationship update is number one, I guess. Things are going great. They really are. I feel like in a relationship, no news is kind of good news in a way, just in the sense that I'm in this, like, it's a very healthy relationship, really great communication. Ben is in school, so he's busy with that, and that's been something that's been interesting to navigate. I think we're doing really well. We have a lot of like exciting summer plans to look forward to. Like we're going to weddings together. Actually, in a few weeks, we're going on a trip together. Just us two. So I think like it's nice having things to look forward to together, talking about the future and stuff. Talking about the future, a lot of people have questions about like moving, you know, will we move in together, stuff like that. Ben lives in Brooklyn because that is where he goes to school right now. and it's important for him to be nearby. I live in Manhattan, even though I'm in this relationship, and even like we are so great, let me tell you. I feel like these are like the years to somewhat be a little selfish. I do. So I kind of want to be selfish, I say in air quotes, for like one more year, and we'll both like live separately for one more year and then figure it out from there. My lease is up in September. I don't know, I might stay in this apartment. A lot of questions on like, would I move, whatever. I have been in the same building since I moved here, but I moved apartments since I moved to the city. So yeah, I've been here for a while, and I get a lot of questions like, don't you want to move and switch it up? The reason why people move in New York is because there is something fundamentally wrong. It's usually rare that you want to move just to like switch things up. And I have a really good thing going. I have a gorgeous apartment with a gorgeous balcony. My rent, it's expensive for sure. It's definitely like the top of my budget. So I'm like, I don't know if I would be able to find something like this somewhere else. I feel really safe in this building. I really like the staff. I really like the location. There's just like a lot of things that like, I'm like happy. It's almost like gambling, right? If I were to move, I would be like betting that the next place would be better than this. And I don't know if I'm willing to take that risk. And then on the note of moving in with a significant other, I think if it makes sense, it makes sense. Right now, for us, I'm not really sure if that makes sense, just because I want to stay in Manhattan. He wants to stay in Brooklyn. We both have our reasons. I think in a perfect world, we would love to live together, you know? If we were both already in the same area, we both live alone already. So if we both were living alone, like, you know, both, let's just say in a similar area, like I think it would make sense then. But I think like right now, I'm not really sure if it makes sense. And things could change. Who knows? I still have, you know, like I said, until September. But also I am kind of like, in a way, I mean, I definitely look forward to that in this relationship. Like I look forward to doing things. Like I look forward to moving in together. I look forward to, you know, having a family, whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm looking forward to those things. And I'm a very rushed person, but I'm trying to like reserve it and slow myself down, because realistically, if, you know, this is my person for the rest of my life, we're gonna have the rest of our lives together. What's the rush? What's one extra year gonna do? If I were a betting woman, I would say I'm probably gonna stay put here. But yes, one day I do want to move in with my boyfriend. Someone asked about like moving in together before getting engaged, whatever. I have always wanted to do that. That is like always been, even before I was like, I didn't even know shit about relationships before I was in this long-term relationship, but I always knew that was something I wanted to do. Just I think it's really important to live together. Like you learn a lot about someone by sharing a space with them. And I haven't lived with anyone since I graduated from college 4 years ago. So I've been alone for a while, so that will be a whole like learning curve on its own. Yes, it is very important to me to do that, and it will be done at some point, you know? How do you push through feeling lonely at first when you move into your own place, like living alone? I actually have a whole video up on my channel that I like rediscovered. It's called like tips for living alone. I made it like peak COVID 2020 when it was very lonely living alone. I think a lot of the tips still stand, so I would go watch that video. But yeah, it's definitely like a weird adjustment when you're kind of like, I lived with roommates in college, and then I was on my own in like a new city too. And I was like, damn, like I'm really alone. I think honestly for me, it's a lot of like almost like filling the void, which I know this sounds strange, but like by listening to podcasts or music or watching YouTube videos or having, you know, things on the TV, even just as background noise. It's kind of like a weird nostalgia. It reminds me of like, you know, being home in my house at home and like, you know, being in the living room with the TV on or something. And that kind of brings me a sense of comfort, you know, making a lot of plans for yourself, doing lots of FaceTimes and calls and putting yourself out there. You're definitely allowed to feel lonely, and it's like, you know, it's a weird thing to navigate, but I think you'll fall in love with living alone, because that's another thing. I love living alone. I love having my space. I love it. Like I have a freaking pink duvet cover right now. Not to say that if I lived with a man, I wouldn't have this, but I probably wouldn't. Let's be BFFR, you know? My apartment is like all pink accessories. I get to decorate it however I want. I don't have to ask anybody for a second opinion. So I think there's a lot of pros to living alone. I think that will be an adjustment for me one day. Someone said, what's the best part about being in this stage of your life? Like I said, I'm always thinking about the next thing, the next thing. For once, I actually like don't feel that way. I think I haven't felt this like in a minute really, but when I was in college, I remember being stressed, like, you know, gotta get good grades, gotta graduate. When I was in high school, I was worried about college. When I was in college, I was worried about post-grad. Then when I got my first job, I was like, how can I get out of this? I feel very like right now at peace. I feel very, like I said, I'm protecting my peace. No, but I really do feel like at peace. I feel like I can trust the people in my life. I have good people in my life. We're doing freaking amazing things with the podcast. Like we're going on tour and we just have so many amazing things coming out this year. You know, obviously being in a healthy relationship helps. Living closer to home, I get to see my family all the time. I just have so many reasons to like be blessed. I'm like, wow, I just feel like I can like, like breathe, you know? So I think that's probably the best thing. But I feel like I was like looking at my life as if it was like a checklist, and I kind of like just let go. Good things started coming into my life. I don't know. So if you're like me and you see things that way, or you used to see things that way, I recommend just taking a deep breath and realizing that everybody's on a different timeline. Nobody's life is gonna look exactly like yours. Nobody's gonna have the same, you know, expectations for your life as you. And if anybody's putting expectations on your life, I know that's a big thing now. I see questions here, you know, like engagement timeline, whatever. There is no timeline. I'm trying not to see things as like 2023, I live alone. 2024, I move in. 2025, I get engaged. Like I'm trying not to see things that way and like map it out, because guess what? Shit happens. Life happens. Of course you can have goals and aspirations and you're allowed to do those things. But for me, I'm not going to set myself up for failure or place expectations on my life. That's not my goal right now. So I feel like once I learned to like, let go and let God. No, but seriously, like let go and just like live my life. That's when stuff started like falling into place for me. Podcast listeners know if you're always at a level of panic or stress, take a breath with me. It's all gonna be okay. What travel plans do you have for the rest of the year? So not everything's like finalized yet, but coming up next week, I'm going to Cabo with some friends. I'm definitely going to vlog, so stay tuned for that. I'm also working on getting the vlogs longer again. I know everybody wants them to be. I love watching a long vlog too, don't get me wrong. Cabo next week, and then I come back for a little bit, and then Ben and I are going on a trip. I'll probably post when I'm there. He has spring break for school, so we are taking full advantage and going on another tropical trip. I'm essentially going on 2 back-to-back, and you know, does that make sense? Not really. Like I said, you gotta take a deep breath and go with the flow. And I'm lucky that I can, you know, control my own schedule, so I am taking full advantage of that as well. I think I'm here for my birthday, Taylor Swift concert. I'm just going to the one in New Jersey though, but still very, very exciting. And then in June, I have 2 weddings, one in my hometown, one out east. And then July, Danielle, Katie, and I are doing Montauk for a little bit in there again for 2 weeks. August, I'm going to a music festival. And I will say we are actively in the works of crafting together dates for more Gals on the Go live shows. Were incredible and so much fun. If you guys got to come, you know, just the best time. I'm so happy with the way they turned out. You know, we're in the works, but that won't be probably until the fall. So I will say that. How to put yourself out there in dating. I want to answer this one because I was on TikTok the other day scrolling and I stumbled upon Patty Stanger's live. Now, if you know her, you know she's the iconic queen, millionaire matchmaker. It used to be a show on Bravo. I remember growing up, I didn't even watch like a ton of Bravo, but for some reason I watched this show. In 2020, I think I like bought a bunch of seasons on Amazon because it's like not even on Prime. I think I had to like buy them. And I started watching it again, and it's like definitely some of the stuff you're like, okay, that would not fly these days. But basically she's like a dating coach and she has opinions, a lot of hot takes. But a lot of the stuff I do agree with. She's very like New Yorker, like says it as it is. So I love that vibe, you know I do. But I stumbled upon her live. Someone asked something like, how do I start dating? You know, like, oh my gosh, like it seems so dreadful, like I really don't want to. And she was like, no one really wants to, but you go on one, maybe you like the person, you go on another, or you don't like the person, whatever it is, it's just really pushing yourself to do it. There's no easy way to say it. I mean, I guess some people just do like it. I never really personally liked it. I knew that the end result would be worth it. I knew that it would be worth it to go through meeting people that I didn't necessarily like or connect with because I would learn from those experiences. And I knew that eventually it would be worth it because I truly had faith that like I would find my person, you know? And not to say like, oh, this is like the end all be all, you know, I hope that works out that way, but you know, like I said, life happens. But I think that's what motivated me, was like, you know, just the prospect of like one day it will work out and it will be easy, and that is what happened. And she also mentioned, this is a really good tip, going on dates to places that you get something out of it too. Now, bear with me. Not necessarily like, you know, you're scamming them out of a meal or whatever, but at the same time they should pay. But dinner on a first date's tough. But more or less, you get to do something or try something or explore somewhere in your city that like you've been wanting to try. I've been wanting to go to this new bar, so why not like go there on a date? Even if the date's shitty or, you know, you're not a fit, At least you got to try out that new bar. Maybe you could go back there next week with your girlfriend. Or, you know, you get to go to a sporting event or a show or a dinner or a coffee shop, whatever it is. Looking at it that way too is definitely helpful, because then you're like, okay, I get to, like, you know, explore my area a little bit, do something that I wanted to do and meet someone, and, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I have a lot of people in my life who are like, I feel uncomfortable going on dating app dates or whatever. No shade to them, but at the same time, like, it's 2023. It's happening. It is. I met my boyfriend on a dating app. I think it's normal at this point. I do. Not that it ever like wasn't normal. I helped my grandma set up her online dating profile, and she's been with her boyfriend now for 10 plus years. I remember like literally sitting in my old house, my computer room, like helping my grandma set it up. And it works. It works, people. So my advice is just you gotta do it. I feel like I have a lot of friends in my life who will, like, you know, be like, okay, I'm gonna go on a date this week, and then they cancel, because I get it. You get nervous and anxious and stressed, but I recommend just trying it out, you know, and going in with loose expectations. Like, you just get to try out somewhere new that you like. But I appreciated that she validated a lot of feelings that I know I felt, and feelings that I know a lot of my friends and people in my life feel, which is that, you know, no one really wants to do it. Like, let's be real. Unless you do. I guess some people really do, but I think most people don't. How do you feel about the overconsumption that comes with being an influencer? Real shit here. I feel that, yes. You know, and I get a lot of messages like, how do you feel about, you know, influencing people to buy stuff and whatever? I mean, I guess that's the name of the game, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and be like, you know what, I only share whatever. Like, you guys know my heart. You guys know where I'm at. And I've been doing this shit since I was in high school. I do think ultimately, yes, that is the job of an influencer. Do I want to be the one to single-handedly promote overconsumption? No. I'm more or less acknowledging that yes, being an influencer can lend itself directly to overconsumption, especially when you see, like, you know, the PR boxes and everything. And you guys know I do giveaways, I donate, I give to friends and family. Like, it's not about necessarily like, you know, me having like a backstash of all these products. A lot of this job is promoting products. I've never claimed to be a eco-friendly influencer. I think as long as we kind of all come under the understanding that, like, you don't need all of this stuff, or even if I post, you know, oh, here's the dress that I'm wearing. Do you need that dress? Absolutely not. If you have, you know, if you think you have room in your life for it and it fits and it's applicable, that's great. Also, something that I think is really important to talk about is that influencers, me, myself, and I, we get a lot of stuff sent to us. I'm showing a lot of like fancy Revolve outfits, dresses that are $300, $400 retail that I have been sent for free. And that is like, I don't know how I found myself in this position, and I'm so beyond lucky. I will link my outfit, sure, because, you know, someone might be like, where's your outfit from? Oh, here's the link. I completely understand that that is like out of reach for most people. 1000%. I try to be transparent, you know, when things are gifted and whatever, so that you can understand that, okay, she's wearing this $400 shirt, but like she didn't necessarily buy it herself. It was sent to her. It's tricky. It's tricky. If it's a $400 top, but if it's like ethically made, then that's great. But people, you know, want to dupe, of course. Who $400 top? That's insane. I'll give an option. Let's just say like an Amazon option or something, and then that's, you know, promoting fast fashion, and that's, you know, not cool. Blair, something on TikTok, she did a TikTok about this, and it's like, oh, okay, then go thrifting, but then you're taking away resources from people who need them. So yeah, there's overconsumption. I'm sure I'm part of the problem. I can only speak for myself, you know, trying to do a little bit better. I'm an influencer, you know, shop my storefront. Like, what am I supposed to say here? I feel like I won't win here with this. Like, you know, there's not really much I can say. More or less just acknowledging it and working a little bit better every day to be better. How to figure out how to dress to flatter your body. Took me a lot of years on this one. Social media is actually a really big help with this, because there are so many different types of bodies out there now that are represented, which I love so much. So whether that be, you know, on TikTok, I think TikTok's actually a really good place for this. Abercrombie try on haul size 6 or whatever. Try to find people who have similar bodies to me. And then I think just over the years of trying things on, realizing, you know, what I feel the most comfortable in, what I feel the most confident in, trying different like necklines, trying different cuts, trying different whatever it may be. And I'm still not even perfect. There's definitely some things that I wear sometimes that I'm like, not the best look for me. That's fine. This comes with time, because I think in college I did not know shit. I was like, you know, I look back on my outfits and I'm like, girl, that would have looked so much better if you know, would have worn, you know, a different bottom. Why was I dressed like it was mom's night out? But it's not always about following the trends, you know, like long skirts might be in, but you might feel more comfortable in, you know, pants or shorts. And also people have different opinions on what flatters you. You know, I have had my outfits that I feel the most confident in, that I feel the most me in, that are some of the most like criticized, you know? If you feel more confident in a jumpsuit versus a dress, wear the jumpsuit. And I think a lot of trial and error goes in here. I'm learning even like little things like with jumpsuits, You know, I have to look for how long of a torso they have, because if it's super short, then my boobs kind of get squeezed and look weird. I'm learning for necklines that, like, even though I have bigger boobs, a plunging neckline isn't always the go-to for me. Actually, like a square across or even like a higher neck sometimes looks better. Looks better is subjective, so I feel like, you know, I'm more confident in is like the answer. So I think lots of trial and error. If you're having like a not so bad body image day, maybe those are the days you go shopping and you try on a bunch of different clothes. Explore social media a lot. Like there's a lot of helpful tips and tricks out there. There's so many, like, I hate the word micro-influencer, but there are a lot of, you know, people on TikTok who don't even have a ton of followers, but you might be able to like find your niche of like someone that has a similar body to you. I know that's helped me a lot, is following people who have a similar body style and seeing like what kind of cuts they wear or what kind of styles, because then I think to myself like, oh wow, you know, she has a bigger chest, something like that might look good on me. But use social media to your advantage. TikTok specifically, TikTok like unlocked a whole new level of like fashion stuff for me, because that used to be something that would really stump me and really leave me feeling not so good, especially when you're scrolling on Pinterest and like looking at the outfit inspo. The outfits look great, but like they're on people that are, you know, a size 0. And then I try on the same outfit and I'm like, whoa, something's not adding up. So just knowing that there are beautiful people of literally every shape and size, and they're out there. On that note, I feel like because I talked about it a lot recently, I'm getting a lot of questions about bras. My favorite brand of bras right now is Spanx, the classic bra. I will link it down below, and I will link below the strapless. I like the strapless bra a lot, but the classic one that like clasps in the front, it's really, really good. They're a little bit pricier. I think I have a discount code, so I will leave that down below too. This is not sponsored, by the way. They just like gave me a code and they were like, hey, if you want to share it, you know, you can. My mom always taught me that like having a good bra like definitely, you know, boosts your outfit, boosts your confidence, especially my gals with a larger chest, but really any size. I'll leave them linked down below. Would you ever consider being on a talk show for gals on the go, like Drew Barrymore vibes? 100%. I think we would. Putting that out there in the universe, I definitely see that for us, and I know that it will happen one day. How do I get started as an influencer? How do I start, you know, making money, whatever? I'm constantly seeing content on TikTok specifically about like, you know, how to get into influencing. I'll sit here and tell you, if it's something that you know, you've always thought to yourself, you know, I want to do it, I want to do it, you know, you're not getting any younger, so you might as well start now. And what's the worst that happens? You know, someone like sees your post and is like, oh, this is cringe or weird or whatever. Fuck them. My advice to everybody who wants to start is to start from a genuine place and post stuff that you're passionate about. Don't think about the check. And I know it's hard, you know, you're like, oh, but I want to get my bag, it's my side hustle. I'm telling you, if you put in the work and you actually put out like good content that people want to see, not with the intention of getting paid right away, you will get paid eventually. I can tell you this. Not that I'm an expert in this by any means, but I think the people who go into it and they are like, okay, like I posted my first video, like now where's my brand deal? It's not gonna come for a minute. We only see those 0.2% of successes, like the Alex Earls of the world, who seemingly overnight did come to success, but she actually posted for years before she even like came to that level. You probably didn't follow her and like see all that other stuff. Immediately focus on posting stuff that either you're passionate about, you see that there's like a hole in the market, you know, there's like something that you could add value to. I think if you are consistently posting and doing your thing, I think TikTok's probably the best place right now to post to grow a following, just from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. And reels too, actually, randomly. It's definitely a lot to keep up with, I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot to like stay on the pulse of all of these platforms and, you know, kind of be everywhere all at once. And you don't have to, that's the thing. So, you know, don't put that stress on yourself. But I would say just focus on putting up good content that you are happy with. And over time, you know, it comes across the right person's desk and the opportunities will come. If you want, you can pitch yourself out, you can do those things. I read an article that was like, so many people, so many like influencers, you know, want management right now. If you have one TikTok up, you don't need a manager, you know? Keep doing your thing and then eventually you'll meet the right people and the right thing will come along. I really, really, really believe in that. Start. I really do think that. I really, really, really do. I think that this is the time to do it. It's very possible. And if you're sitting there and you're like, I've just always wanted to do it, I feel like I could do it. And I think that's where we'll end off this Q&A, because I feel like we've literally talked about everything and such random stuff too. But I'm so grateful for you guys. I feel so lucky to have this community around me and just the positive energy and everything. And not to be corny, but I feel very, very lucky. And thank you all for your recent well wishes on the vlog that I posted recently. I didn't really talk about that because I don't really have any updates. I'll know in like a few months or whatever. But thank you all for supporting me and uplifting me. I'll see you guys with a vlog next week. Bye.